Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Celtic Way YouTube channel, Facebook page, and X page as well. My name is Ryan McGinley. Today, I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by Tony Haggerty at Rugby Park. We're here. Could be a night of glory for Celtic. Celtic only need 1 point to clinch the league title. Hopefully, they do that, and then some. Maybe get some style points as well. As you can see on the screen in front of you, I'll just go through the team. I'll go through the team just now. It's Joe Hart in goals. A back four of Greg Taylor. I've put the wrong team up. I put Nawrocki out and it says Scales, Carter Vickers, and Johnson. In the midfield is McGregor, Hattati, and O'Reilly, and Maeda, Idah, and Forrest. The subs this evening are Scott Bain, Lewis Palmer, Kyogo Furuhashi, Nicholas Kuhn, Mike Nawrocki, Tomoki Iwata, Paulo Bernardo, Anthony Ralston, and Stephen Welsh. So I'll just click that off because we've given Nawrocki a start when it's Liam Scales. First of all, Tony, how are you doing?
I'm great. Or should I say, I'm feeling champion. There you go. I think most Celtic supporters would feel in that kind of mode, wouldn't they? Coming here, a point needed to clinch the title. Hopefully they put on a show and they win all 3 points. But they're in a good position, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly are. I'm looking forward to tonight's game. Should be a packed Celtic crowd as well. You can just see the semblances of a tifo beginning to take place over there. That's going to be something to look forward to before the game is kicked off. Before we get started and talk about the team in full, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors. Let me just get the script up. So we're thrilled to have Weissman, who are a global leader in the boiler industry, known for their top-notch German engineering, sponsor our podcast. What's more exciting, they've teamed up with Scotland's very own award-winning installation team, MPH Boilers, making this a perfect match right here in Scotland. Weissman's boilers are engineered to deliver not just warmth, but unparalleled efficiency and reliability. We're talking about cutting-edge technology that's designed to save you on energy bills and reduce emissions. With MPH Boilers, you know you're getting service from the best in the business, a local team that's committed to excellence and customer satisfaction. When you choose a Weissman boiler installed by MPH Boilers, you also get a free internet controller, making it a breeze to manage your heating anytime, anywhere. Plus, they're offering the first year's service free. It's about giving you peace of mind and making sure that you're looked after. So if your boiler's showing its age, you're considering an upgrade, this is your chance to get world-class engineering with local expert service. Weissman and MPH Boilers, it's a match made in Scotland. Make sure to check them out and take the first step towards a warmer, more efficient home. And let me just bring up the special offer that we've got right now. Yeah, all open to existing subscribers as well as new subscribers. 6 months of access for just £1. Plus, you could win lunch with a Celtic legend that is Martin O'Neill, and all expenses paid for. Really is the best ever offer that we've ever had on the site. www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Get involved. All existing subscribers are already involved in this deal. Get involved. Get your name in the hat. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery, and it's the same with this. Please get involved. 6 months of access. It was last year up until the middle of November now. So yeah, get involved. Tony.
Yes.
Let me just take this off actually. Tony, I know we've not got the team on the screen because I put Mike Nawrocki in and I don't want to be confusing people. It's Liam Scales that's in the team instead of Mike Nawrocki. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part. I don't know. What do you make of that team? An unchanged team apart from Adam Idah up front instead of Kyogo Furuhashi.
Yeah, we were talking off air just before we came on air live and we were asking what the deal was with Kyogo. Don't know if it's an injury or, as we thought, maybe because there could be a physical element to this game that Brendan Rodgers favours Adam Idah. I'm sure we'll find out. I'm sure he'll do an interview with one of the media channels beforehand and somebody will ask the question. But I'm still very confident that team can get the point, Brian, and bring the title home for the third successive year. 3 in a row, as we spoke this morning. My mood's not changing in any shape or form. And I think that if Celtic turn up, they can give the fans a lot to cheer about tonight. Pretty confident that'll be the scenario.
Yeah, apart from that change, Adam Idah coming into the team in place of Kyogo Furuhashi, it is an unchanged 10. You would say, so we get 10 out of 11 in our predicted line, guys. But it's strong, very strong. Yeah, only human after all. I don't know if there's a wee bit of Rag and Bone Man on in here as well. It's definitely not Rag and Bone Man that's on the tannoy, so apologies in advance if you can hear music in the background as well. A wee bit of background music, can't beat it, I guess. It's a really strong team, isn't it? With not that much, apart from that one change, obviously, but it's very consistent. You know, you still get that midfield, and you still get the back four. It's only the striker that changes. How good is having that solidity, especially for such a big game tonight? You know, it's all about getting the job done tonight, and they've named 10 out of the 11 players.
Yeah, it's usual for Brendan Rodgers and that 11 that he's picked. You know, they know the sketch, they know the script. Go out there and win the match. and then they have put it to bed, then they might think about bringing guys on and giving them a chance to impress them before the cup final. You know, there's cup final places at stake, but you and I sitting here and lots of people tuning in, and neighbours, the Scottish Cup final 11 at this moment is picking itself, isn't it?
Yeah. I would say probably 9 or 10 spots at least up for grabs. Maybe some other spots, maybe the wing positions. I don't know if maybe at the moment I would play James Forrest and I would play Idah at this point in time because it's against Rangers as well. You know, you've got to negate Tavernier as Idah did last time out against Rangers. So yeah, that's I think 8, 9, 10 of the positions are already spoken. Like Idah to maybe force his way into Brendan Rodgers' plans. You know, he's playing for a permanent contract. At the end of the day, he's got to show what he's all about. I think tonight could be a perfect example for him and a perfect game for him to really show what he's about. Do you agree with that?
Without a doubt. And listen, Brendan Rodgers wants to take the pressure off any kind of last day cliffhangers tonight. That's why he's gone hard and fast and gone solid. No, he'll explain his reason why Kyogo Furuhashi is not in that team. But I think Idah is a well-capable deputy. Reporters, arguing the toss of whether they should sign him or not. Tell you what, puts in a good showing tonight. You know, that's something that lots of Celtic supporters will put in mind and store in their memory banks. And will ask the question, what do Norwich want? And if it's a reasonable price, then I think a lot of them will think that he's worth it. You know, I saw some criticism on Saturday when he missed a couple of chances. Yep, all strikers do that. You know, he's also scored a few important goals. If you're to go through, the games that won the title, he features prominently because he features with his double at Fir Park and he features with his double at Easter Road and he features with the goal that he scored at Ibrox to put you 3-2 up with minutes to go. So there's lots of big moments there. So Idah's proved that he can touch another chance he's been handed tonight, and I'm sure he can carve himself into Celtic folklore if he scores the winning goal that brings the title over the line tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game for him. You would expect him to turn up in the big games. As you said, he's been turning them up in them game upon game upon game. Think about the Hibernian double. Think about the Motherwell double. You know, he scored against Dundee as well at home with a great towering header. They're not just tap-ins that he's scoring or goals that are maybe the third and fourth in games. He's scoring big goals and big moments. And I was watching clips the other day. That Motherwell double that he had, two important goals. Celtic didn't score within the first 5-10 minutes of that Motherwell game. It's a completely different story, and that can have major ramifications for the rest of the season. He took the game by the scruff of the neck, and then he scored the winner. I know Lewis Palmer scored to make it 3-1 at the end of the day, but he scored the winner. Big goals, I'd like to see his correlation with goals to points because he's won Celtic a fair few points since he's joined the club. I was a bit of a critic of him at the weekend. I've got to be honest. I think he should have at least had a double with the chances that he had. But tonight's a chance to atone. Francis Leicester just comes in and just says Idah will need to show something tonight. Because if he doesn't, then he won't be purchased. In my opinion, I think Brendan is saying, "Show me you deserve a contract here." Very possible. But I think that Brendan Rodgers does rate the player as well, and he wants him to do well. He was saying he has a lot of good qualities that he wants to work with. You don't really work with a player for 6 months, as far as I know. You work with a player for 2-3 seasons. So you wonder if maybe there's already an agreement. I know there's no option to buy, but if Brendan Rodgers can get his player, then he might come in a permanent deal. Elsewhere in the team, Tony, there's hardly any movement at all. James Forrest is a man for the big occasion, and he's been trusted again tonight. What are you expecting from him tonight?
More of the same. I thought he was terrific on Saturday. I probably should have put him in as one of my talking points in the instant analysis. It's only afterwards when you think of things and you say, slap your head and you go, dope, that kind of thing. But listen, I think his contribution since he came back into the side's been absolutely stellar. And you need all hands on deck tonight, and that includes experienced players like Forrest. He just knows what he's doing, and he can be relied upon. And he can be relied upon in these situations to help other guys as well. And he's the kind of guy that can help Idah too. Sometimes when he beats a man and he does those wee dink crosses, Idah can feed off that. So I've no qualms about what James Forrest brings tonight. Players can get injured in any surface, and I know this surface is dreadful, but we always knew Celtic were coming down here with the possibility to go and win the title. I'm delighted that it's a strong team and the manager hasn't tinkered or experimented and taken any chances. That's a team that the manager's put out to say, put this over the line.
Who do you think is going to be the main man tonight? I know you were talking about Forrest, but it's a really strong lineup, even with the change of Kyogo being on the bench in place of Idah. You're looking at the Matt O'Reilly. He's just come off the back of a treble of his own, of Young Player of the Year, Players Player of the Year, and Player of the Year for Celtic's own individual awards. Say what you want about the Scottish awards and maybe the awards that have snubbed him, but it's clear that he's very much valued at Celtic at this point in time. Is he a player that you can look at tonight? I know he scored in the defeat here that Celtic faced or got inflicted to them by Kilmarnock. He scored the opening goal, and he was the one player that seemed to be doing really well, and then all of a sudden it all went to pot, didn't it? He's a player that you can rely upon. He's a player that's scored a lot of goals recently, and you wouldn't bet against him getting on the score sheet again tonight, would you?
That front six, as I call it, Ryan, that midfield, Matt O'Reilly, Rio Atati, McGregor, and Forrest, Dyson Idah, and Idah. That's where the game's won and lost. Because I feel as safe as houses with Cameron Carter-Vickers at the back. You know, we're looking out here and we're having flashbacks to Nat Phillips, aren't we? You know, and the game when they lost in the League Cup, Taylor being off at the park at the time when the goal. When
Marley Watkins with the goal. Yeah, it was Danny Armstrong and then into Marley Watkins.
So, you know, you want to just put that to bed, and that's a team for me that will put that to bed tonight because we're a different animal now, different prospect altogether, different mindset, as I spoke about on the pod this morning. Just everything about this Celtic team's different. And if that front six, if you want to call it that, the midfield three and the attacking three, if they turn up and they play, Celtic will create and they will score goals. You know, and I'm not even going to talk about the surface. It is what it is. You've got to deal with that. And I think this squad of players, this group of players in particular, are good enough to deal with it. Didn't deal with it the previous twice they came down here. And if you needed any fuel, anything to be said in that dressing room, just talk about that and just see the reaction that you'll get from this group of players tonight. It'll be vastly different.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think we should spend a bit to talk about the opposition because Derek McInnes has had an absolutely tremendous season with Kilmarnock. They are guaranteed fourth place. Now, this is a team that only get promoted the season before last. That's an incredible turnaround that Kilmarnock have had under Derek McInnes. I think he's a top-class operator at this level, and he's shown that once again in the Premiership. You know, he's already getting touted for other jobs potentially as well. Not to prime away from Kilmarnock or anything like that, but he is getting touted for other jobs. Most recently, the Hibs job I've heard his name getting linked with. He's done a great job this season. He's the fact that he's beaten Celtic twice and got a draw at Celtic Park as well. A draw at Celtic Park's as good as a win most weeks. So he's had a great season. Kilmarnock are a well-drilled team. They've got dangers all over the park, or dangers in some areas of the park. Danny Armstrong, Marley Watkins, Kevin Van Veen on the bench, you know, a familiar face, and Gary Mackay-Steven, Liam Polworth as well. Players that we've heard about and players that have done Derek McInnes a favour, or not a favour, done him a good job this season. So it's going to be a difficult game, isn't it, Tony?
Of course it's going to be a difficult game. He's the most underrated manager in this league.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Most underrated because he's been a success everywhere he's gone, with possibly the exception of down south with Bristol City, who I believe were downsizing, but he took the chance going down, broadened his horizons, and it didn't work out. It happens to a lot of people, but the job he's done at St Johnston, Aberdeen, and now Kilmarnock, you know, how long can he keep getting ignored for a top job? And I mean a real top job. I don't know. He was
linked with a particular job a few years ago that he turned down. So
yeah, but he turned that down for specific reasons, didn't he? So that's fair enough. But his time will come again. Brendan Rodgers spoke very highly of him yesterday as well, and spoke about the fact that he could get a top level job, and whenever he's asked about him, he always praises him to the hilt. So you can't get any praise higher than that. And he showed this season by beating both Celtic and Rangers. So lots of accusations are thrown at these managers because people believe that they support a certain team and they send their teams out not to try against one half or the other. It's utter nonsense. You know, you only need to look at our former manager last night ranting. No manager sends their team out not to play against a particular, not to get a result. And Derek McInnes has put a lot of those doubters and snipers wrong this season. Twice they've beaten Celtic and once they've beaten Rangers, drawn with Celtic, and they were at Ibrox the other week, and a result was taken out of their hands by decisions, wasn't it, when they were in a good position? So this tonight is a very difficult, but But I just think this Celtic team have got the bit between the teeth now, and they'll get the point, stroke 3 points. I actually think they'll get all 3 points tonight, because I think they'll want to wrap it up in style.
Yeah. Get your predictions in the comment section. I'll try and read out as many as we can. Maybe first goal scorer as well. Hopefully there is a goal scorer in the game. I want goals. I want goals from Celtic tonight. Hopefully get the 3 points as well. So get them in as quickly as possible, and we'll try and read as many out as we can. Looking elsewhere in the team, it's great to see Alistair Johnston back. It shows you that 11 stud marks, 11 studs won't keep him down, and he's back in the starting lineup after getting taken off. Maybe for a bit of a precaution against Rangers. Tony Ralston did his job. He did a really good job when he came on. It's great to see the first choice right back there. Alistair Johnston, he typifies this team in the heart and the we never stop attitude that under a previous manager, I think he's brought it under Brendan Rodgers as well. He's a player that improves every game, in my opinion, and he'll be important down that flank tonight. But his defensive work is just as important as his offensive game too, isn't it?
We're returning to the scene of Alistair Johnston's miraculous goal line clearance when he threw himself a forward roll, didn't he? Yeah. And the ball hit his back or somewhere in his shoulder, and amazingly, people were saying it was a penalty kick because it hit his hand. He knew nothing about it. He just threw himself at a ball, and again, that typifies, you're talking about that spirit. 11 stud marks, Ryan, but still some people say it was a yellow card challenge. I mean, come on. 11 stud marks tells its own story, right? So, but
that equate 11 yellow cards, and I don't know what colour, what shade that would be. I don't know what it would be, but it was a red card all day. It was a shot, a shambles that it even went to VAR in the first place, because it was I'm not going to say it's a career ender, but it could have been a leg breaker or an ankle breaker.
You saw it in real time. It was a shocker.
Out of control. I said it at the time. It was an out of control challenge. The referee at the time, Willie Collum, who's now the head of referees, deemed that to be a yellow card and then changed it to a red. Fair enough, he went and changed it. He realised he made a mistake, but it was a red card from the moment that John Lundstrom left the ground to get to Alistair Johnston.
And he's lucky he's only got 11 stud marks. This is somebody who could have been out for missed months of football, chunks of football, if his leg was planted. You know, it could have been a real sore one, a real bad break somewhere in his ankle or his leg. So, thankfully, he's recovered. And he's clearly made of sterner stuff. Not enough to keep him out of this one. But the way Alistair Johnston is and the way you hear him speak, I don't think he would have wanted to miss this one. So, he would have had to have had something seriously wrong with his leg after that challenge for him to miss out this game. And you say, big up to Anthony Ralston, who came in on Saturday and did the job. And he's another able deputy. If he was to come in, I would have no qualms about that tonight. But I just see this Celtic team getting joy tonight. I think there's a will within the team to do it. They're doing it for Joe Hart. And then also, we spoke about it this morning, there's a poignancy of Tommy Burns and Bobby Murdoch's sad passings, the anniversary of them. So there's lots of stuff. You throw it all into the mix and all the ingredients are right for Celtic to just, turn up, get all 3 points and wrap green and white ribbons around the Scottish Premiership trophy for a third successive year, Ryan.
Yep. I'm just going to go through some of the predictions that people have they've given their numbers, and God bless every one of them. James Guild says 3-1 to the boys. Frank Hewitt says 3-0 tonight. I'm on the hoops. Joe Allen, maybe is it that Joe Allen? I'm not sure if it's the Joe Allen that Brendan Rodgers liked. 5-0 Forrest hat-trick. We'll take that tonight. Take any hat-trick tonight, as long as it's a Celtic hat-trick. Joseph Maxwell, 3-1 to Celtic. 3-0 Celtic, says Scott Dougal. Jason Lee, 2-1 for Celtic. Anyone will do, basically. Hazel Finn, always in there, 3-1. Hatate, the first goal scorer. 2-0 or 3-1, I think, or maybe 4-2 or even 5-3. What score don't you think it is, Stephen? Tell us that. Tell us the score that you don't think it's going to be, because you've covered all bases there. Mark McQueen, I think it'll be 1 each. Bit of a pessimistic shout, but still secure the league. 3-1, Hazel Finn's already said that. 3-1 to the hoops, Alan Muir says. 3-1 is a very popular scoreline. Helen Feeks, 3-1. William O'Toole, 2-0. Celtic, 3-1 Celtic. Alan Weir, 3-1 to Celtic. Oh my God, there's absolutely loads tonight. Kaiser comes in. Kaiser's always in. 4-0 to the hoops as well. To say Dyson Maeda to score a worldie tonight. I think that's maybe the last thing we'll touch upon before we end off this stream, because it is getting a bit loud and it's difficult. I'm sure it's difficult for you to hear us. There's been a real cult like emergence of Dyson Maeda, maybe from cult hero to actual hero over the past few days for Dyson Maeda, with his celebration, Nessun Dorma. I know that's your favourite video. Ever since you've seen it that day, you're like, I need to write about that. He's definitely a cult hero at the moment, or an actual hero. What are you expecting from him tonight? Are you expecting him to cause havoc down that left-hand side?
Do you know what I'd love for Dyson Maeda to score the title-winning goal? I think it'd be the most popular, out with Joe Hart coming up for a corner or taking a penalty or something. But I think if Maeda scored the title-winning goal, this place would erupt. I think the manager and the back bench would erupt as well, because I think he's just such a popular guy, isn't he? And that celebration on Saturday is just so uncharacteristic of him, wasn't it? But it was a joy to watch, and I wrote it in the piece. I've just said, you ever doubt that once Celtic get under your skin, that they don't become bona fide Celtic supporters? There's your proof. That man will love Celtic for the rest of his days. And it's a brilliant saying, and it was Jock Stein that said it. Celtic weren't their first love, but they'll become the last love. I say it about Joe Hart, and I'll say it about the Japanese contingent as well. They were brought halfway around the world by Ange Postecoglou, who then left them after 2 seasons. And you could be forgiven for thinking that they would maybe want to go elsewhere.
Well, they were going to be first out the door, I'll be honest with you guys.
But they're bought right into the ethos of this club. They love the culture, they love the supporters. And the Japanese like to idolise and give people adulation, but they'll find it hard to talk what they get in the East End of Glasgow. And it shows, doesn't it? Every one of them is a happy footballer, and they're producing for this football club. And so I think, in my own head, I've got a Dyson Maeda title winning goal. I think that'd be brilliant.
It'd be a great visual, that is for sure. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we go off? It's with just under 20 minutes until the game starts. Is there anything else that's pressing your mind? Any players that we haven't discussed? Any subs that we haven't discussed? Or just the game in general? I don't know if you maybe wanted to touch upon, sorry to put words in your mouth obviously, but Tommy Burns and Bobby Murdoch doing it for them tonight. The Celtic players, I wonder if Brendan Rodgers has said that to them. It's an anniversary of both of their players passing. It's traditionally a sad day for Celtic with the loss of those two legends, two massive, not modern day figures, massive figures in the recent or semi-recent history of Celtic. Tonight's all about them, and tonight's doing it for them, isn't it? And making sure you continue their great work in the present day.
Tonight's a celebration of their lives. You can't think of Tommy Burns without seeing him sitting down and saying that famous phrase, they're there and they're always there. And God bless every one of them. And they're there again, Ryan, to our left-hand side. We can see the Celtic supporters congregated. Those that are fortunate enough and lucky enough to get a ticket. We are fortunate that we do what we do for a living. And I've said before, we try and do it with passion, professionalism, humour and honesty. And as I say, it's a privilege to be sitting here at these moments, and you just think of this entity that you call Celtic Football Club and the people that have passed through. And I said this morning, Bobby Murdoch was a world-class footballer, but he was a world-class person. And Tommy Burns was the same, he was a world-class person. Gordon Strachan said that when he gave a eulogy about him when he sadly passed away. And I think every Celtic supporter just raise their eyes heavenward. Just know that those two guys will be looking down. And if ever you needed a wee bit extra motivation, you do it for them. And you get emotional and choke when you speak about these legends, because Celtic's history is full of legendary figures. And Tommy Burns and Bobby Murdoch, my goodness, you don't get any more legendary and higher than those kind of guys, do you really? Let's be honest.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I just want to bring up the women's team as well, who are currently 3-0 up against Hearts away from home at the Oriam Stadium or the Oriam, yeah. So phenomenal. They're doing their bit. They've only got one game to go until they clinch their first ever title, SWPL title, which would be absolutely incredible. So fingers crossed to keep that going, maybe get a couple of more goals just to make it even more secure, and that'll be a great day on Sunday afternoon at Celtic Park. I'm sure there'll be a great crowd rolling them on to victory and a title. Final thing to talk about before we finish off tonight's first show is score predictions. How do you see this game going? Do you want me to give mine, and then I'll give you? I'm gonna go for what I went for the other day. I'm gonna go for 3-1 Celtic.
I have 3-1 Celtic. I believe that'll be. I think Kilmarnock will score. So I think Celtic will score 3-1 Celtic.
Yep, 3-1 for you. I'll do me. That'll mean that Celtic are the champions, and then it'll be a very, very happy place on this podcast on the post-match and beyond. Then we head into the Scottish Cup. We'll be back as soon as we can after the game to discuss what will hopefully be another title for Celtic. Just keep an eye out on our socials. Keep an eye out on the Twitter and Facebook page as well. I'll be on there quite a bit tonight to bring you the latest on what's happening on the game as well. Some photos, some photographers around the ground have been taking pictures of. So please keep an eye out on that as well. Some of the goals, maybe some of the highlights as well, will be on there too. Until then, until the post-match, enjoy the game. Fingers crossed Celtic get the result that they're looking for. And yeah, we will see you after the game. Enjoy.